Let us pray. Almighty God, the creator and ruler of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide all our actions so that we may always walk in the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that will promote the unity, peace, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria in general and Lagos State in particular. Amen. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. You are welcome to today's sitting. Let us quickly go through the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 15 June 2021. Page 348. Honorable Olowo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. Mr. Speaker, I found my name on the absent, and I remember I took an excuse from you.
Oh, Mr. Clerk, please take it.
Thank you.
Honorable.
Good afternoon, the Right Honorable Speaker. I found my name in the absent list, and I remember I took permission, sir.
Mr. Clerk, 349, 350, 351, 5-2. I have examined the fourth SAM proceedings of Tuesday, 15 June 2021, and approval is here granted. Any message from the governor?
Right, Honorable Speaker, sir. Distinguished honorable members, there is no message from the governor.
Any other announcement?
Yes, sir. We received 3 letters, sir. With your kind permission, I humbly read, sir. We received a letter dated 18 June 2021 from the Office of the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Lagos State, requesting for a bill to amend the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission Law, Cap L36, Laws of Lagos State. The above refers further to the directive of Mr. Governor to please find 60 copies of a bill to amend the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission Law, Cap L36, Laws of Lagos State, for consideration by the State House of Assembly and enactment into law. The justification for the said legislative amendment is also attached. Please accept the assurances of our warmest regards. Signed, Mr. Muyashore Onibanjo, SAN, Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice. A notice is also received from Honorable Ogundimu, Chairman, Committee on Establishment, Training, Pensions, and Public Service, inviting honorable members of this House and staff to a public hearing on a bill for a law to amend the Lagos State Pension Reform Law, Cap L52, Laws of Lagos State 2015, and Cap C 136, Amendment of 2018, on Wednesday, 23rd June 2021, at the House Pavilion, Assembly Complex, by 10 a.m. Signed, Honorable Ogundemi, Chairman, House Committee on Establishment, Training, Pensions, and Public Service. Mr. Speaker, sir, we also received a letter from the Commissioner for Finance, Dr. Rabiu Olowo. The letter is dated on the 5th May 2021, entitled Lekki Concession Company Limited, LCC, Conversion of African Development Bank Loan from Senior Non-Sovereign Guaranteed Loan to a fully flexible loan guaranteed by the federal government of Nigeria. It has a background that the Lagos State government assumed the full ownership of Lekki Concession Company Limited in December 2014 upon the buyout of all the shareholding interest of the Ita2 concessionaire. Arising from the buyout, the subsisting 2 shareholders of FCC are Lagos State government 75% shareholding and the Office of Public-Private Partnership 25% of the shareholding. The benefit of this request are 2, tenure elongation and interest rate reduction. And it has a prayer that in the light of the foregoing and the Lagos State Executive Council approval, I hereby seek the consideration and approval of the Lagos State House of Assembly to 1. Convert the African Development Bank loan guarantee to Lekki Concession Company with an outstanding balance of $33,532 as at 31st January 2021 from a senior non-sovereign guaranteed loan to a fully flexible loan guaranteed by the federal government of Nigeria on behalf of the Lagos State government. And 2, authorize the state government to issue a counter guarantee in favor of the federal government of Nigeria along with an irrevocable standing payment order, ISPO, authorizing the federal government to deduct from the Lagos State government statutory allocations the amount required to service the loan obligations until maturity in August 2033. Signed, Dr. Rabiu Olowo, Commissioner for Finance. That is all, sir.
Petitions?
None, sir.
Matter for the public importance? None. Personal explanations? None. Reports? None. Business of the day, laying of reports. Honorable Somolu.
Right Honorable Speaker, my colleagues, good afternoon. Mr. Speaker, I stand before you this afternoon to lay a report of the Committee on Finance on the request for approval for a special dispensation for bond, redemption, and bridge to bond financing program, ISOLE.
Honorable Victor Akande.
The Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I stand before you this afternoon to lay reports of the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Public Petition, and LASIEC on a bill for a law to amend the Administration of Criminal Justice Law, CAP A3 Laws of Lagos State 2015, isolate.
Honorable Sanni.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues. I stand before you this afternoon to lay a report of the Joint Committee on Education on Lagos State Institute of Legislative Studies Bill 2020, ISOLE.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we have listed as one of the items for plenary today House of Assembly Bill number 32, Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission Amendment Bill 2021. Mr. Speaker, it's my pleasure to move that this bill be read for the first time. I so move.
Honorable Raib.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay. The ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, sir. It is an honor to read for the first time the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission Amendment Bill 2021. Thank you, sir.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to leverage on Order 12, Rule 81(1) of the Rules of this House of Assembly, which allows abridgment of days for the 3 stages of a bill that is to be passed, to move that the second reading of the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission Amendment Bill 2021 be read for the second time. I so move.
Honorable Council.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rest the second motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, sir. Distinguished honorable members, it is an honor to read for the second time a bill for a law to amend the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission Law, Cap L36, Laws of Lagos State of Nigeria 2015. Thank you.
Honorable Akande.
Thank you. The bill is just for amendment, and it's just a singular amendment in the I second the motion as moved, sir.
Honorable Isha. Honorable, why did you allow yourself to be misled?
Sorry, sir.
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for rescuing me. The bill is just a singular amendment. Not even a singular amendment, just a fraction of the amendment of the bill. But the major issue is that the bill is seeking for us to give the executive, the governor, the leverage, the little opportunity to be able to use his power in case the time lapses. And I think it is a good amendment in the right direction. So I want my colleagues to just let us give it backing that is needed, so that we can easily amend it and it will stand the test of time. Thank you.
Honorable Isha.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon, honorable colleagues. Like Honorable Akande mentioned, it's a small portion of the bill, of the original law that has been called for amendment, but it will go a long way, because there are times we may need to extend. The only addition I want to add is, ordinarily when they are being appointed, they do come to this house for approval before they are eventually appointed. So such an extension should also be that form of resolution that the House resolution with respect to the extension should be sought before the extension is made. Beyond that, I think it's a good amendment, and we should support it. Thank you very much.
Honorable Talbot.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, and my distinguished colleagues. Well, we have looked at the amendment, and I think it's a worthy one, because a House and this democratic dispensation, we must ensure that we abide by the rule of law. And if there is anything that the governor is doing, he must do it in tandem with the provision of the law. So in case if there were problems or there were issues unsolved, and there's no vacuum to at least appoint other people, the governor may use his discretion to give them amendment that will not exceed 6 months. And it's just only opportunity for them to extend their tenure no more than once, and it will not be more than 6 months. I think it's a worthy one, rather than leaving it closed and it will be used against the state. I think, Right Honorable Speaker, is a worthy amendment, and I'm in support of it too, sir.
Majority Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I concur with what my other colleagues have said, except that I want to say that the amendment being proposed is just addition of a subsection to subsection 2 of the extant law, which in this case is forward-looking and providing for a situation that may necessitate extension of the tenure of the Electoral Commission to perform its duty, since the Constitution puts it succinctly that no part of the local government shall be administered except by a democratically elected, process. And the body to conduct this election is the Electoral Commission, Independent Electoral Commission. So it's just adding a subsection to the section 2 to enable this and to ensure, as Honorable Dr. said, to comply strictly with the provision of the rules and make sure that what we are going to do, the electoral process, is validly lawful. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's just a provision, a subsection.
Honorable Councilman, anything different?
Yes, sir. So it's slightly different, sir. I would like to take it from where Honorable Yishal actually rightly mentioned, where he talked about the position of bringing it to before the House in situations like that as a matter of convention. And as a matter of fact, yes, it comes before the plenary, but on this account, I would suggest that in such a situation, they should be directed to the committee responsible for that particular law, so as to review the activities of such persons seeking an extension. I so submit, sir.
Yeah, I thank you for your quick response to this bill. As rightly observed by those who have commented on this bill, it's just to serve for expedient of time. As we all know that the state announced election process to the local government and LCDA in Lagos State, which has started with the parties who will be contesting for the positions. But the process, which started late, is possibly to affect the tenure of the existing LASIEC officials, so that the state can be on the safe side. The need for us to look at this law, amend it, and do what is necessary to protect the efforts of the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission. The need that calls for amendment to that section by introducing a subsection which empowers the governor to elongate the tenure of the officials of LASIEC. So if at the end of the day is being challenged, the outcome of the election is being challenged, or any other third person is interested in the conduct of the election, so that the Independent Electoral Commission can be legally protected against such litigation. But beyond that, I think there should be additional clause. Now, going by the intention of the executive asking for 6 months, I think 6 months is too wide in this consideration. It's supposed to be 3. We should look at giving out 3 months, because what we are saying is that in case that the assignment given to LASIEC official has not finished after the election or before the election, so additional 6 months for me is too wide, because we ought to be ahead of time in a situation like this. So I think we should reduce the 6 months being requested for to 3 months. And in such case, it should not be left alone to the executive. I think the House should have a role to play, because the need for extension should be a major concern And in fact, it's a real concern to the whole state, because we are talking about election to local government, and local governments is the closest government to the people. So it's all about the people. So we should be part of the picture whenever there is intention to extend the tenure of the LASIEC, since they are acting or conducting election on behalf of the people, and the House as a parliament also represents the people. So I think it should be subject to the approval of the House where it is necessary to extend the tenure. Such requests should come to the House of Assembly. So it should come to the House of Assembly for review and approval. So if we are going to do that, I think the request should be subjected to the approval of the House of Assembly. So that will be my position on this. So Majority Leader, I think we think along this line. Since we have the, as we have cited, the concurrence of the Constitution, that we can fashion our rules in the way that will be convenient for the House to operate, and the support of the rules of the House, so we can move ahead to the third, prepare for the third reading of the bill after. Thank you. The other items, I'm not saying now, so we can give the officials time to put all we have said together.
Mr. Speaker, also listed on the other paper sorry, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, also listed on the other paper for today's plenary are two reports for presentation. The first report is a request for approval for a special dispensation for board redemption / bridge to bond financing program to be presented by the House Committee on Finance. The second is in respect of House of Assembly Bill number 12, Lagos State Administration of Criminal Justice Amendment Bill. The report of this Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Public Petitions and LASIEC, which chairman is Honorable Akande. Mr. Speaker, to take these reports, I wish to move that the House dissolve to Committee of the Whole. I so move.
Honorable Tijani.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to score the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against no. The ayes have it. Honorable.
Right Honorable Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, good afternoon. Mr. Speaker, my colleague, you will recall that the House, at its plenary session of Monday, 24th May 2021, deliberated on the above request received from the executive arm and committed same to the Committee on Finance for critical examination and report its findings to the House. Terms of reference, appraised the request for a special dispensation, inquire into the debt profile of the state, and ascertain the source of the fund for repayment and refinancing. With the permission of Mr. Speaker, I'll go to the submission by the Commissioner for Finance. Mr. Rabi Olowo, Commissioner for Finance, brought to mind the long collaboration between the Executive and the House of Assembly in 2016 that led to the floating of 500 billion naira bond program as stated below. 1. Program 3 Series 1, 47 billion, issued on December 2016. Our coupon rate 16.5%. Program 3 Series 2, 97.387 billion naira. Program 3 Series 2, Tranche 1, 46.37 billion, issued August 2017 at the rate of 16.7%. Program 3 Series 2, Tranche 2, 38 billion 770 million, August 2017, coupon rate 17.25%. Program 3 Series 2, Tranche 3, 6.911 billion, January 2018, the issuance date, and the coupon rate was 15.6%. Program 3 Series 2, Tranche 4, 5.336 billion, issued in January 2018, the coupon rate 15.85%. And lastly, Program 3 Series 3, 100 billion, issued January 2020. The coupon rate was 12.25%. This make the balance from the 500 billion program approved by the House as of today to be 255 billion 613 million. He added that the request was to take advantage of the provision in the earlier bond issued, that after 3 or 4 years, if there is no significant change in the microeconomics of the state, the bonds can either be recalled or redeemed, depending on the size of the bond. Hence, the desire of the state government to recall by redeeming and refinancing 1. Bond of 46 billion 370 million, which was floated on February 11, 2021 at the rate of 16.75% to mature in August 2024. 2. Bond of 6.911 billion, which was floated on February 11, 2021 at the rate of 15.6% to mature August 2024. And lastly, bond of 47 billion, which was floated on June 30, 2021 at the rate of 16.5% to mature December 2023. This will enable the state to benefit from the lower coupon rate of 13.5% to 14% of current market value of bond issuances as against 6.5% and with 2 years moratorium and longer tenure. He further explained that the need for a special dispensation of 85 billion naira bond will enable the payment or defray 85 billion loan from a commercial bank with interest of 9.25% bond bridge. He therefore submitted that the executive will want a bridge loan of 85 billion from a commercial bank at 9.25% interest rate to effect the recall of bonds as stated above, totaling 100 billion 281 million, while the balance will be effected from the CDSA Consolidated Debt Service account. And 2, a special dispensation bond of 85 billion will also require the approval of the House to defray the 85 billion loan. Mr. Olujimi, Permanent Secretary, Debt Management Office, corroborated the position of the Commissioner for Finance on the request and further informed that the refinancing will not constitute additional debt to the state under the new issuance, and that the approval will allow the state not only to access additional capital for infrastructural projects, but to achieve significant cost saving up to 75 billion 61 million. He concluded that year 2016 bonds issued by the state were issued with a call option, which allows an early call or redemption of a bond before maturity, and that a callable bond benefits the issuer
and allows the state to pay off its debt early in order to take advantage of favorable interest rate. Furthermore, it will reduce the pressure of redeeming the bonds or maturity, which is less than 3 years. Observations. Based on the briefing and documents received, the committee observed that 1. The underlisted bonds will be recalled stroke redeemed. 1. Bond of 46,370 million, which was quoted on February 11, 2021 at the rate of 16.75% to mature August 2024. 2. The bond of 6.911 billion was quoted on February 11, 2021 at the rate of 15.6% per annum to mature August 2021. And 3rd, bond of 47 billion, which was quoted on June 30, 2021 at the rate of 16.5% to mature December 2023, totaling 100,281 million. 2. The redemption of the above bonds will allow for the extension of the maturity of same with 2 years moratorium, which will be in 2031. And finally, the special dispensation approval will enable the state to earmark funds for capital projects. Recommendations. Based on the above observation, the committee recommends that the House to grant 1. A special dispensation of 85 billion bond with 10-year tenure and 2 years moratorium. And 2. Approval of 85 billion bridge loan, bond bridge loan for a quarter at 9.25% per annum for the redemption of the recallable bonds, which are Program 3 Series 1, Program 3 Series 2 Tranche 1, and Program 3 Series 2 Tranche 3. Appreciation. On behalf of my colleagues, I will thank our Right Honorable Speaker for the confidence reposed in us, while thanking the Secretariat and the Acting Clerk. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I therefore move that the report as read out by the chairman be adopted for debate.
Honorable Togo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Honorable.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, fellow members. I followed the report of Honorable Olowo with rapt attention, but I am not very clear from the submission of the Honorable Commissioner for Finance, having listed all the bonds issued between December 2026 to date, and the last statement there is that the balance from the 500 billion bond is 255.613 billion. I'm not sure these figures, they add up. And then what I mean is that if the entire bond approved by this House in 2016 was 500 billion, from the different programs and series of how much you have accessed, if we add up all the amount issued so far, it is slightly in excess of 300 billion. And at that, the balance here is less than 200 billion. So this 255.613 billion, I do not know how this figure was arrived at, except if the chairman can shed some light on it. I mean, this is pure mathematics, except if my calculator is not working well. I wish to submit as such, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Togo.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I just want to be schooled. When you go to page 2, item 312, I am a bit confused. Well, item 1, bond force 47 billion 370 million, which was floated in February 11, 2021 at the rate of 16.75 to mature August 2024. Then bond 6 billion 911, which was floated in February 11, 2021 to mature August 2024. And the last one, bond of 47 billion, which was floated in June 30, 2021 at the rate of 16 to mature December 2023. My conviction is this: we are yet to get to June 30. So, and was floated. And when you look at the maturity date, so something that was floated in June 30, matured in December 2023, while the one that was floated in February 11 will mature in August 2024. I seems to be a bit confused. That is why I want more clarification and more explanation from the chairman. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My observation is on page 1, the table, line 2, program 3 series 2, 97.387 billion. The date of issuance is not the end, and the coupon rate. I don't know why is that. Is it deliberate, or we supposed not to know when we know the rate that the other ones and the date of issuance is being put out? Mr. Speaker, I just want to know that.
Thank you very much, sir. Honorable Abu, thank you for the question. You know, the total, what we are here is not basically that the total bond we have issued over time. Some of them have been redeemed. The outstanding balance that yet to be effected is what is here. So we didn't list all those bonds that have no issues or questions with what we are doing. Some of these bonds have been issued over time, and some of them have been redeemed. The only one we put here is for you to have clarity, because some of them, despite the fact they are in series, will be affected by what we are seeking for. Because when you look at what is similar to what Honorable B.C. Yusuf is talking about, when you look at the second particulars on that program, you see where we didn't put 97.37 billion. So we added it up. If you look at series 1, tranche 1, series 3, tranche 1, series program 3, series 2, we added them together, and that's why you have the total written above. So when you add all those ones, it will give that 97.387 billion. So I think that will answer your question. And for Honorable Tobu, thank you. You see, what we have in here is that when you see what they put here, the mistake was from the secretariat. But when you look at page 1 of what I stated, you see program 3 series 1, that's the first in there. It was floated in December 2016. When you look at programs 3 series 2, tranche 1, it was in August 2017. Then when you look at the last one, which is program 3 series 2, tranche 3, on the table, it was issued January 2018. And when you look at the coupon rate there, it was very expensive, between 15.6 to 17.25. And today, we are talking between 13.5 to 14%. So it's cheaper for us to access the bond market. And that's the reason why we want to call off this, because it's going to be a lot of pressure on our obligation to these stakeholders. Because if we are going to redeem this bond between 2022 and 2024, the lot of demands, the lot of pressure will be on us that we will have no money to do infrastructural facilities. And when you look at what we have in CDSA, Consolidated Debt Service Account, it's around 17 billion. So for us to not be able to redeem in 2 years, as against what we are prepared for in terms of our sinking fund, is going to be a lot of pressure on the state. So that's the reason why we want to say, okay, let's go to market, immediately assess, let us pay through bank loan so that we can call off that bond. Then whatever we are going to seek for in 85 billion bond, which is going to be a specialized dispensation, we will now use that money to pay off what money we collected from commercial bank. And that's the reason we are seeking, they are seeking for the two approvals.
So are you saying the date is an error?
Yes, when you look at, sir, the date is an error.
Okay.
Because what we have on the first page, when we have the table, the issuance date was written there, it was between 2016 to 2020. And what will be affected for were the bond issued between December 2016 to August 2018. Even the one for 2020 is not affected. So it was a mistake. I'm very sorry for that error, sir.
Honorable Kasu.
Yes, sir. Motion for adoption, sir. Having had the clarification from the chairman of the committee, I want to move now. I therefore move that the recommendation of the committee be adopted as the resolution of the House. I so move.
Honorable Desmond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second the adoption.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those against, no. The ayes have it. Who is next? Who is next? Huh? Akande, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Report of the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Public Petitions, and LASIEC on a bill for a law to amend the administration of criminal justice law, Cap 4, Cap A3, Laws of Lagos State, 2015. The House at its plenary session of Monday, 31st August 2020, committed above stated bill to the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Public Petition, and LASIEC for further scrutiny and to report its findings accordingly. In compliance with Order 85/3 of the Harmonized Business Rules and Standing Orders of the House, which mandates every committee to which a bill has been committed to ensure public participation during the constitution of same. The committee organized a day public hearing on Thursday, 24th September 2020 at the House of Assembly Pavilion to seek input from stakeholders on the proposed amendment. 1.0 Welcome Address. Honorable Akande V.O., Chairman of the committee, welcome members and participants to the forum and stressed that the Lagos State Parliament has institutionalized public participation in lawmaking process through public hearing on any proposed legislation, and that the essence of public hearing was basically to obtain input from the stakeholders to enable the House come up with laws that will stand the test of time. He added that the proposed amendment to some sections in the administration of criminal justice law became necessary in order to make it conformed to modern day realities. He thereafter urged the participants to contribute meaningfully to the proposed legislation with the assurance that every suggestion, opinion, and contribution made will be considered on their merits to form the bedrock of passing the bill into law. He thereafter wished them fruitful deliberation. 2.0 Keynote Address. Honorable Eshinoku Sanni W., Deputy Speaker, who represented the Right Honorable Speaker, expressed appreciation to members and the general public who took out time to attend the public hearing in spite of their various tight schedules. He informed that the journey of the law commenced in 2007 when the state recorded a landmark achievement with the passage of the first ever Lagos State administration of criminal justice law, which resulted in the overhauling, remodeling, and rejigging of criminal justice system all over the country as other states and the Federal Capital Territory follow suit by enacting their various versions of administrative of criminal justice law, which were modeled after the Lagos State law. He also recalled that this was the third time the law is being amended because there was no perfect law, just as no lawmaker possesses the magic of knowing all the future developments while making the laws, and that the amendments being sought will further improve the criminal justice system by easing all bottlenecks therein and make it more efficient and effective in its purpose. He further informed that this cannot be achieved without robust interactions, deliberations, and contributions from all stakeholders interested in building a formidable institution which will enhance the seamless administration of the law to fulfill its purpose. He thereafter admonished participants to cheerfully articulate their observations towards the betterment of the state. 3.0 Overview of the bill. Honorable Gumbiade SOB, Majority Leader of the House, in his view of the bill, stressed the importance of the proposed amendment to the Lagos State Administration of Criminal Justice, which currently stands as Cap A3 Laws of Lagos State 2015, and that about 25 sections are being proposed for amendment to show that Lagos State is sensitive, proactive, and very responsive to development, criticism, and concerns of the people. He also said that over time, there have been different seminars, programs, and conferences where many opinions have been canvassed that the administration of criminal justice law be amended, and we are glad that this amendment is coming to input all the suggestions collated, and at the end of the day, the people of Lagos State will be better for it. While calling for input from the stakeholders, he implored them to feel free to make their contributions on the proposed amendment and assured that the House will look into their submissions with a view to incorporating them into law. He thereafter presented the proposed sections for amendment of the public to the public. 4.0 Observations. The generality of the participants commended the House for its proactiveness and responsiveness to the need of the people. However, the following observations were made by the committee from the submission of stakeholders at the hearing. 1. Section 6, subsection 4 of the proposed amendment be amended to provide for a time frame within which the police officer in charge is required to report to the court the particulars and the reasons for refusing to return or hand over the items or properties received from an arrested person. 2. Still in section 6 sub 4, line 3 of the proposed amendment, replace the phrase police officer shall make a report to the court stating the particulars and the reasons for the refusal with owner or such interested person shall apply to court for the release of the items to property, and the police shall show cause for the refusal, if any, after D. 3. Section 6, sub 5, line 1 of the proposed amendment, delete the words, a report, and insert an application after which. 4. Section 75, sub 1 of the proposed amendment, line 2, insert the phrase, subject to the approval of the Attorney General, after the word may. 5. Redraft section 75, subsection 7, paragraph 6 of paragraph 1I of the proposed amendment to read, has a right to remain silent and the consequence of remaining silent. 6. Section 200 sub 1 of the proposed amendment, line 3, insert the word "it" after "law." 7. Section 335 sub 1 paragraph B, line 1 of the proposed amendment, replace the word "where" with that after or. 8. Section 335 sub 5 line 2 of the proposed amendment, replace the word "and" with "of notice of after service." 9. Still in section 35(5) line 3 of the proposed amendment, replace the phrase "affidavit of effort" with "affidavit of non-service" before the word "where," because it is what the sheriff will ordinarily depose to where an attempt to serve a court process fails. 10. Section 335 subsection 7 of the proposed amendment be deleted, since the plea of the defendant had already been taken and he has pleaded not guilty before being granted bail. 11. Section 283 subsection 1 line 3 of the proposed amendment include the word "once" after "at least." 12. Section 371 subsection 5 of the proposed amendment be deleted because the likely contraveners of the provisions in section in question are the police, the prosecutor, or the court itself. And 13. Section 372. The problem of this section lies with the enforcement of payment of such compensation in a criminal proceedings. And 14. A new section 376 by amending the principal law with a side note to read restorative justice, where any person who is arrested for an offense by the police desires amicable settlement, whether charged before a court or not, the magistrate may direct parties to a restorative justice court, except where the alleged offense is a 1. Capital offense, 2. Sexual offense, 3. Kidnapping, 4. Domestic violence, 5. Corruption or financial crime, 6. Terrorism, and 7. Courtesan related offenses. 5.0 Recommendations. From the above observations, the committee recommends that the bill be amended as follows. 1. Redraft the introductory sentence in section 2 of the bill to read as follows. The principal law is amended by deleting section 4 and replacing to read as follows. Also, redraft section 2 sub 4 of the bill to read as follows. 4. A person or law enforcement officer who arrests in contravention of subsection 1 of this section commit an offense and is liable for misconduct. 2. Redraft section 3 subsection 1 of the bill to read as follows. 1. A police officer or law enforcement officer making an arrest or to whom an arrested person is handed over to by a private person shall record and sign an inventory of the particulars of all items to properties recovered from the arrested person. Also delete the word "property" and replace with the word "item" to "property" wherever it appears in that section. 3. Delete section 5 sub 1 paragraph B of the bill and replace to read as follows. B. Commit an offense in the presence of the officer or the agent. Also in paragraph G, line 1, delete the word implement and replace with instrument. 4. Create a new section 7 in the bill to read as follows. Amendment to 73 to 76. 7. The principal law is amended by deleting section 76. 5. Redraft the introductory sentence in section 7 of the bill to read as follows. The principal law is amended by deleting section 77 and replacing as follows. 6. Delete section 8 of the bill as this has been addressed in section 7. 7. Redraft section 10 of the bill to read as follows. B. Depart from the precincts of the court without refusing to attend leave of the judge or magistrate, commit an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a penalty not exceeding 20,000 naira or to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 2 months. 8. Redraft the introductory sentence in section 14 of the bill to read as follows. The principal law is amended by deleting section 283 and replacing it as follows. 9. Redraft section 15 of the bill to read as follows. Amendment to section 298. Section 15. The principal law is amended by inserting a new section 298 to read as follows. The court may, upon written information on oath before the commencement or conclusion of a trial, order an interim forfeiture of property, instrument or material where there is a reasonable ground for believing that any of such instrument, material, property, movable or immovable, or things have been provided or used for the commission of the offense charged and triable by the court will not be made available at the conclusion of the trial or will have been otherwise dealt with by the defendant. 10. Redraft the introductory sentence in section 16 of the bill to read as follows. The principal law is amended by creating a new section 300 to read as follows. 11. Redraft the introductory sentence in section 17 of the bill to read as follows. The principal law is amended by deleting section 347 and replacing it to read as follows. 12. Redraft section 23 of the bill as follows. Creation of new section 375 to 387. The principal law is amended by creating new sections 375 to 387 as follows. Also in section 23, break down the new section 375 as follows. 1. Create section 375 with the provision of section 375 sub 1 with the side note establishment of criminal justice reform committee. 2. Create section 376 with the provision of section 375 sub 2 with the side note composition of the committee. 3. Create section 377 with the provisions of section 375 sub 4 and sub 5 with the side note functions of the committee. 4. Create section 378 with the provision of section 375 sub 3 with the side note remuneration and allowances. 4. Create section 379 with the side note meetings of the committee as follows. Meeting of the committee 379 sub 1. The committee shall meet at least once a quarter while the subcommittee shall meet monthly. So section 2. The chairman shall preside at any meeting of the committee, but in the absence of the chairman, the members present shall appoint one of the members to preside at the meeting. 5. 6. Create section 380 with the side note quorum as follows. Quorum. Section 380. The quorum of the committee shall be 6 members. 7. Create section 381 with the side note proceedings of the committee as follows. Procedure of the committee, section 381, sub 1. The committee may make standing orders regulating its proceeding. Sub 2. The meeting and the proceedings of the committee shall be in such manner as set in this law. 3. The validity of proceedings of the committee is not affected by a vacancy in the membership of the committee or a defect in the appointment of a member of the committee. 8. Create section 382 with the side note disclosure of interest as follows. Disclosure of interest 382. A member of the committee who has a personal interest in any agreement enter into or proposal to be considered by the committee shall disclose the interest to the committee and shall not vote on any question relating to the agreement. 9. Create section 383 with the provision of section 375 sub 7 to 11 with the side note secretary to the committee. 10. Create section 384 with the provision of section 375 sub 6 with the side note staff of the committee. 11. Create section 385 with the provision of section 375 sub 12 with the side note funds of the committee. 12. Create section 386 with the provisions of section 375 sub 13 to 16 with the side note account and audit. 13. Create section 387 with the provisions of section 375 sub 19 to 21 with the side note subcommittee. 13. Redraft the provisions of the bill generally to make for gender neutrality. 6.0 Conclusion. The committee expresses its gratitude to Mr. Speaker and members for the opportunity given to carry out this assignment. We also appreciate the clerk of the House and the Secretariat for their support at ensuring the timely completion of the report. Thank you. Signed, Honorable Akande V.O. Ojo 1, Chairman, Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Public Petition, and LASIEC. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Kosofe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I therefore move that the report as presented by the chairman be adopted for debate.
Honorable Laogs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hereby second the motion as moved.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, let us all appreciate the presenter of the report, Honorable Akande, for a job well done. I've gone through these propositions and I appreciate the fact that to make the law to have human face, because until you are prosecuted, you are judged to be innocent. So all the provisions there are really in tandem with our own belief as Democrats. But however, Mr. Speaker, under page 3, item 14, where you talked about restorative justice, I'd expected where you talked about, because there are some crimes that ordinarily you may not necessarily make it whether it's capital or it's not capital in orientation. When you look at issues like murder, stealing, so I'd expected where there be definition of capital punishment, so that it will not be at the prerogative of either the judge or the police to determine. So I want capital offense to be stated in the preambles, maybe if under interpretation, so that you can now have what connotes capital offense, because I don't know whether murder is a capital offense or stealing is a capital offense or not. So it is more important, because we are talking about restorative justice, so that that's just my observation. Apart from that, it is a good job, and I will just job done. I will tell my colleague to let us give his speedy support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would also like to commend the chairman of the committee. Very good job, well done. I would also like to go with what my honorable colleague said, Honorable Olowo, regarding restorative justice. I'm slightly confused, Honorable, because we look at things like capital offense, sexual offense, kidnapping, domestic violence, and if we're saying they're not allowed restorative justice in these senses, we know that somebody who's been accused of sexual offense, whether they're charged or not, can actually ruin their lives, sir. So if they have no quotient or no ability to get restorative justice, in the sense of even just an apology from the police department, considering if they were not charged for that heinous crime, it will go a long way, because in this social media world we live in today, false information can go a long way towards ruining people's lives. So I think we have to think about the type of crimes that we actually want to allow for restorative justice. Other than that, it's a very great job, well done, and I'd like to commend the chairman once again.
Well, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Olowo, thank you very much for your observation. But from the original law, the Eastern law, the interpretation has been captured. Capital or no capital, it has been captured in the original law. So that secures that. Then, then the second question is restorative. It's not for the offender, it's for the victim. Just like we were doing time for victim, the other victim bills that we're doing. So it's just for the victim. Then it's to pass to another court to look into it so that they can determine whether it has locus.
No, I don't think so. If you look at what we have in your report here, it's for the accused, where any person who is arrested for an offense by the police desires amicable settlement. So under it, we now have listed crimes that cannot be considered in such situation. So it's not for the victim, it's for the accused. So that these are what is it called, crime that cannot be tolerated under this section. So, and I think, well, all we have listed here are just good enough to be supported, because we are talking about capital offense, like Olowo and the rest of them. When you see capital offense, you should know it's something that has to do with murder and all sorts, that has to do with sexual offense, something that the whole nation, including our states, have been on of recent, leading campaign against sexual offense, harassment, raping, and also kidnapping in the same level. Domestic violence, is to discourage everybody, is to discourage everybody from getting involved with something of this nature, domestic violence, because we might be thinking that domestic violence should not be categorized in the same way. We are thinking about capital offense, sexual offense, but it's still the same thing. People have lost their lives during in domestic violence. So, corruption or financial crimes, terrorism, cultism related, I think they are all same. So, the way it's been couched in these reports, I think it is okay. We should just allow it to go. That is my own view. I don't know if you have contrary. So that none of this can be subject. Yeah, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the recommendation of the committee be the resolution of the House. I so move.
Honorable Sakashonade.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker. I raise the second motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those against me, the ayes have it. Yeah, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House reverts to plenary. I so move.
Honorable Tijani.
I
I second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, coming from the Committee of the Whole, I report that at the Committee of the Whole, the House took 2 presentations. One from the Committee of Finance in respect of the request of the Executive for approval for a special dispensation for bond redemption / bridge to bond financing program, and the other being the Lagos State Administration of Criminal Justice Amendment Bill 2020. Mr. Speaker, the reports of both committees were taken. Members made observations, asked questions, and the chairman of the 2 committees provided explanations in respect of the questions so put forward. At the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, at the end of the Committee of the Whole proceeding, the reports, the recommendations of the committees were adopted as the resolution of the House in respect of the request for approval for special dispensation, as well as Lagos State Administration of Criminal Justice Amendment Bill 2020. Mr. Speaker, I wish to report that that is what transpired at the Committee of the Whole. I so move. Sorry.
Honorable Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to affirm that that is a true recap of what transpired at the Committee of the Whole.
Honorable Togo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the affirmation.
All in favor say aye. All in favor say aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to report that the input suggested in respect of the amendment proposed for a law to further amend the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission law had been properly captured, and a clean draft of the bill is now produced, Mr. Speaker, to enable a 3rd reading. Mr. Speaker, leveraging on the other 12, Rule 81(1) of the House of Assembly, which allows abridgment of the steps to be taken in the passage of a bill, Mr. Speaker, I wish to move that the 3rd reading of a bill the 3rd reading of a bill for a law to amend the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission law, Cap L 36, Laws of Lagos State of Nigeria, be read for the 3rd time. I so move.
Honorable Luak.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, sir. Distinguished honorable members, it is a great honor to read for the third time a bill for a law to further amend the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission Law, Cap L36, Laws of Lagos State of Nigeria 2015. Thank you.
For a bill for a law to further amend Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission Law, Cap L36, Laws of Lagos State of Nigeria 2015. The Lagos State House of Assembly enacts as follows: Section 1, 2, 3. That a bill for a law to further amend Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission Law, Cap L36, Laws of Lagos State of Nigeria 2015, be passed into law. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Clerk, kindly forward the clean copy to Mr. Governor for his assent. Approval of bond pursuant to the bonds, notes, and other security law of Lagos State 2015. This House do hereby approve the request for the issuance of 85 billion naira bond for special dispensation and approval for 85 billion naira for bridge loan for a quota at 9.25% is hereby granted. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Clerk, kindly forward the approval of the House. Mr. Governor. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we are done with, we are through with items slated for today's proceeding, and with your approval, I wish to move that the House adjourns till Tuesday, 22nd day of June at 10 a.m. I so move.
Honorable Tijani.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against nay, the ayes have it. This House stands adjourned to Tuesday, 22nd June 2021 at 10 a.m. prompt. I rise.